We are guilty of having extended hands before lifted hands.
Make it plain today.
While he is blessing us, we are in the moment thinking about the next blessing that we want. Have not said thank you long enough for the one we already have. It appears that we exercise or exhibit the spirit of greed.
That's it. That's it.
And discontent. I'm gonna say it like Big Mama said. Crying with a loaf of bread on your own.
That's right. That's right.
Talking about what you don't have.
All right.
This is a part of our practice that we can look for blessing. How much thought do we give for the act after we've been blessed? I think if I asked you how many of us, y'all gonna let me take my time? If I asked how many of us are thankful for what the Lord has done, I'm sure all of us would raise our hand if I asked you to raise your hand. If I asked how many of you are not ashamed to let folk know who blessed you, I'm sure all would probably say, I would tell the word he did it for. If I ask the question, how many of us love God, love Jesus? All of us would say, yeah, I love him. And we would say that in this closed room. We would say that in this closed room. How many of us know? I'm going to preach in a second. We have to know that while God is blessing us, the devil is strategizing. Oh, you didn't know? He can't prevent you from getting blessed. But he can't make you complain. He can put the spirit of jealousy and envy in our heart.
Yes, sir.
arrived at chapter 8. I want you to know this is the last book of Moses.
Yes.
First five are credited to the authorship of Moses. Genesis over to this said book. And as I was reading, I had to go back. I did something really crazy. I don't recommend you all do this. But I read Jesse chapter 8, then I read 7, then I read 6, then I read 5, then I read 4, then I went to 2, then I went to 1. I don't know why I skipped 3.
Well,
but someone reminded me, go back and get 3. Moses is talking to the offspring of the children that were brought out of Egypt. Lord have mercy, Gary Adams.
yeah.
Do you know from chapter 1 to chapter 8, Moses discovers that not only will the people who left Egypt not enter Canaan, but Moses, you won't go into Canaan. The next book is the book of Joshua, who assumes the mantle of Moses leading the Israelites into Canaan. Why did that spark interest to me? Because all of Deuteronomy from 1 to 8 has been an admonishment to the children. Don't forget the Lord thy God.
That's good. Yeah.
That ain't all. And that you would observe his commandments.
That's right.
Hold on to his judgments.
Yes.
Cleave to his statutes. That it may be well with you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord.
Check out the next phrase. As the Lord promised to thy fathers, which were before you. What Moses is wanting them to understand, at least I thought what Moses wants them to understand is this, at least this part. If you do what God say, you will get what God said. But if you don't do what God say, I give it to your children.
All right, man. All right.
It's strange, and I say it's strange. It's strange that God keeps his word, but for the original people he promised it to, did not receive it. Did not receive the promise. I'm going somewhere. Because in this particular story, from chapter 1 to chapter 8, I discovered that we always preach about the blessings of God. We hardly ever talk about the wrath of God.
Come on, man.
There is one.
The wrath of God comes upon the fathers who were disobedient to God. Listen, they wandered 40 years in the wilderness until the last person that came out of Egypt died. And when the last person died, God said, now we're ready for Canaan.
Come on, brother.
That was it.
The point of that is, we don't obey God, God gonna cut us off.
Come on now.
That's just straight. When we don't obey him, he's gonna cut us off. Check out what we read. He says, but, this is the last admonishment, but thou shalt remember. Moses is trying to charge the children of Israel to not forget the benefits of God. Don't forget the benefits. While you're remembering the benefits, remember the person. Can I say what I want to say? Praise is not what Moses is promoting here. And I thought about this because I saw us, when we talk about the promises of God, how the church is frantic and tears itself up about, I got another blessing coming and God is getting ready to do something else for us. Moses is saying, don't you forget God and how he brought you out of Egypt. And the first thing that came to my mind was that we ought to be praising God. But I kept on reading.
Amen.
Moses is not calling for praise. Moses is calling for obedience. Come on, Gary. They stuck. We get an A+ on praise. I don't know what our grade is on obedience. But the church has been misinformed and has been brought to a place to believe that every Sunday morning that we're supposed to come here and give God praise. And when the benediction is done, check that off the list and go back and live like you choose to live. But just as long on Sunday morning, you're putting your hands together. Just as long on Sunday morning, you're waving your hands. Just as long on Sunday morning, you're worshiping him. That's after the benediction. Doesn't matter. That was the original subject I had this morning. What I started with was after the benediction. Because we think that when the benediction has been given, that we have fulfilled our duties as Christians. And I think that Moses here is speaking to the spiritual consciousness of the church and asking them, what is your response to what God is doing to your life?
Come on, preacher.
Moses asking them, are you really thinking about your behavior out of all that God has done for you? Are you really thinking about the choices that you're making out of all that God has done for you? Are you thinking about your practices day to day out of all that God has done for you? Or are you thinking about how you show love back to God out of all that God has done for you? Moses, I guess I told y'all I read this backwards. That don't mean I'm backwards. I read it backwards. I do strange stuff like that sometimes. I don't know why I do it, but it just seemed interesting to keep going back. And I knew I should have went to chapter 1 and came to 8, but I just read it backwards.
Okay. All right.
But here is what I want you to see. Throughout, thank you, Lord. Go to verse number 1 of chapter 8. I need my glasses. I'm going to read the first 2 verses for you. In chapter 8, I want you to catch something. I would say throw this on the screen because everybody didn't bring a Bible and everybody don't have a phone. But check this out. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall you observe to do. 3 reasons why. Number 1, that you may live. Number 2, that you may multiply. And number 3, that you may go in and possess the promise. 3 benefits of obedience. If I obey God, I live. If I obey God, I get increase. If I obey God, I get the promises that he's made.
That's good, preacher.
Do y'all see that on the screen? Thank you for putting that on the screen. Do you see that?
Okay.
Can you go to verse number 2? There's a conjunction there. And I don't just want you obeying me. I don't want you just walking in obedience, but I want you to remember. Remember what? All the way. Which the Lord thy God led thee. How long? For 40 years. Where were they? In the wilderness. Check this out. Why did he bring them to the wilderness? To humble them. Sometimes, Dennis, God allows us to go into the wilderness so that he can deal with our pride and deal with our arrogances, deal with our high-mindedness, dealing with the issue that we've done it all by ourselves. God sometimes allows us to wonder so that he can bring us down. Sometimes God allows confusion so that we might know that it's not us, but it's him. Sometimes God allows Watch God. I brought you to the wilderness that I might humble you. There's a conjunction. And to test you. The word prove can be translated test. And to test you. Why does God want to test you? I want to know what is in your heart. Can I have a flashback? Can I have a flashback? In the Garden of Eden was a tree. And Adam walked by that tree every day. Why did God put that tree in the garden that he knew would sever a relationship between he and Adam? Because God wanted to know in Adam's heart, do you want to be with me? So now I'll know what's in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. Watch. I want you to be obedient, that you would live, that you would have increase, and that you get the promise. That's why I want you to obey God. Now, I want you to remember God so that you would remain humble. And that you will pass the test. Proving to God that your heart is with him. Come on, how do I prove it? Through my obedience. We sung, I love you, Jesus. But Jesus said, if you love me, then do what I say. I'm not asking you what no one else said, but I am holding you accountable for what I see. Moses rehearsed over and over again in chapter 8. Don't forget the Lord, don't forget the Lord, don't forget the Lord. He goes on to say, Brother Jefferson, how God brought you to the wilderness. You might say, well, how could they get halted in the wilderness? Because I want you to know that when they came into Egypt, there was a famine. You remember that Joseph went ahead of the boys. And that when they came and they found Joseph there, Joseph had already proven to Pharaoh that, listen, I know about storing up. And what happened, there was a famine that hit the land. And Moses, Joseph's family, whom he was separated from, he was allowed to be connected back to in Egypt. But there was a Pharaoh that knew not Joseph. And the Israelites were afflicted. Give me some time. And what ended up happening here is they walked into hardship. And they were enslaved for nearly over 400 years. Stay with me. And what ended up happening here, God told Moses after he left, and he sent him back, he told him that after the last plague, tell the children, Put your shoes on tonight. You know mama don't you go to bed with your shoes on. Don't you put your nasty feet up in this bed. But tonight God told them, put on your shoes tonight. I need you to go to every neighbor and borrow silver and gold. I need you to borrow it from them because I'm going to take you out more prosperous than you came in. You came in broke, but you're leaving out wealthy. I'm going to give you a loan that you ain't never got to pay back. Because the word of God is true, that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. It doesn't make a difference how much money Donald Trump has. The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the righteous. And God is the distributor. Can I go ahead and preach? He wanted them to understand that politics is what I'm talking about. When they came out of Egypt, these were folk who were once poor, but now they got a little something. They're riding in Cadillac SUVs. They're riding in Bentleys. They're living in 2- and 3-story houses. God brings them through the wilderness to understand that the deliverance ain't about you. I did this for you, and I don't want you to get out here and start thinking that you somebody. I was the one that was with you while you were over in there. I was the one that protected you when Pharaoh was trying to harm you. I was the one that provided for you when he was trying to make it hard for you. I am the one that was with you all the way. I allowed you to go into the wilderness to prove to you you can't make it without me. I gave you clothes that they did not wear. I gave you feet that did not swell and shoes that did not wear either. I gave you food to eat that your daddies didn't know nothing about. I want to talk about that for a moment. I want you to know that there is a presumption about the church that we got all the answers on the inside. I want you to know God makes this known. As well as your fathers knew me, they didn't know this. They didn't know this about manna. They might talk about how God will and how God won't, but I did something new in the wilderness to let them know that I am, and I do what I want to do. And you don't know everything about me. The only responsibility to me is to get to know me. Day by day. And what God proves with the manna is, I'll show you something new. 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 I'll do something new. I'll do something new. I'll do something that's never been done before. I'll prove some things to your dad who's gotten all holy and think they know who I am. I'll do something for your mamas that thought that they knew me as well. I'll do something to you that you cannot deny out of your own experience. After I gave you manna, you got thirsty. And there wasn't no water nowhere around. And your mama and daddy looking at each other about what we gonna do, what we gonna do. I made a way in the wilderness. I made a way in the wilderness. But I want you to know what God is saying right here. Every time you came up against some trouble, I was there. Every time you didn't know, I was there. When you thought that it wouldn't work out, I was there. Oh, when you thought that you had lost it all, I was there. When you thought that you should have died, I said, not right here. Oh, no, not right here. God came through every time. Can I make a statement? Can I make a statement? It's strange to me how folk can endure 400 years of slavery and can't endure 40 years in the wilderness. Can I run a parallel to this? The parallel is that when you were in the world unsaved, living like you want to live, oh, you had it together. You didn't need God. But now you done got saved. You talking about how hard it is, how bad of a time you got, how things just keep coming together for you. You mean to tell me that God gave you provision grace when you were in the world and now giving you sufficient grace while you were in the church? You complain? Somebody help me. Somebody help me understand. If he took care of me when I was out there doing my thing, if he took care of me when I didn't know him, if he took care of me when I made all the wrong choices, now that I know him, now that I live for him, won't he take care of me now? Won't he do it now? Won't he do it now? Much more now. of you his sheep. My God. My God. Remember. Don't forget.
Yes.
Remember. Don't forget. Remember. Don't forget. Here is the. Jesus, I don't know how much time I got. Here. I haven't even touched on the notes. Here, Moses is hoping that the remembrance of God's blessing will promote love for God. Think about it. What blessing can you recall that afterwards you said, he loves me? He proved that. But that ain't what he's after. But you say, I love you.
Amen.
Oh, by the way, I found my wallet.
Yeah.
And when I found it, the first thing I said was, Jesus, you love me. Here it is. I found it. And I was in the office on my knees when I found it. And it was in a bag I had. And it had gotten in a little pocket. I was looking for something else and stumbled on this. And I was on my knees saying, God, you love Gary Allen. And you answered my prayer. I said, thank you for not only hearing me, but thank you for answering me. It went on and said, because you've done this for me, it makes me want to love you more today than I did on yesterday. Check. Let's stay with Moses. Moses said, remember him that brought you out of Egypt. Because he can count on the praise of your lips. I keep using the word, but can he count on your commitment to follow him?
That's good.
Help us, Lord. Yeah. My. Oh, Jesus, help, Lord. Yeah. My God. Ooh. Jesus.
God saved. Born, reared, went through high school,
Wow.
jumping on motorcycles too fast, coming up off the seat. You remember.
Yeah. My.
Then blessed him to go to school.
Thank you, Lord.
father's education and provided for him during that time.
All right.
Gave him a job and some benefits with it. I'm just trying to point out something. It ain't about the blessing. It's about following the blessing. All of that was good. But life turned. And some bad things happened. But even in the bad thing, he don't know how he did it. Because he ain't told me yet how he did it. He done talked about it, but the only thing he can say is, Gary, I don't know how he did it, but I didn't lose nothing. Shifted the income, called downgrade. And I'm talking about a way down. But still, didn't lose nothing. I hope you get what I'm saying. It's after the blessing that God is saying, what you gonna do? Are you gonna follow me? Or you just gonna keep on shouting? Because you can keep shouting right now, but I need you to follow me. There's two more things I want to discuss, but my time is up. Tune in this week for those two things. But I want you to go home reminiscing about this. One is that after the blessing, is God intent that the blessings will influence you to come with the blesser. That's why Moses is admonishing them, don't forget the Lord.
That's right.
He said, you're going to get some houses, and you're going to get some vineyards, and you're going to have some olive presses, and you're going to have some cities. And I want you to go back and read chapter 1 through 8. When you get over there to about chapter 3, you start talking about Og and Bashan and all of those places where God would tell them that, listen, Sudi, I want you to go through that city, but I don't want you to claim it because that's somebody else's blessing. I want you to come on with me a little bit farther. You're going to go through that city, but I'm going to give the enemies over to your hand. But I don't want you to settle there because that right there belongs to somebody else. But I want you to stay with me and keep on following me, because when you get to this place, I'm going to spread some things out there. And what I want you to know is that this right here, you think that I told you that belonged to somebody, that belonged to somebody, even though this look good too, I want you to know this belongs to somebody else. But when you get over here, I want you to know that what you're looking at, the place where they got grapes that got to be carried by 2 men, I want you to know that a city that's occupied by giants, a place that you say ain't no way possible we can be there, I want you to know that's yours. I want you to know that the promise that's bigger than your eyes can see, the promise and things that you don't think that you can receive, that's yours. I just need you to keep on following me so you can get what I promised you. I want to talk about two other things next week. I want you to think about. One is I want you to think about, how does obeying the word of God promotes love for me to him? Because that's an issue and a concern. If you're experiencing the blessing and the blessings are not encouraging you to love God more, then we need to do a check. And you may ask, well, how do I love God? He says this is about love. Love is about loyalty. He says to them this, and let me preach it next week. Let me preach it next week. The second thing I want you to look at in this text is to think about this week. It's not only the love, but I want you to think about the life.
Amen.
The imagery of your life.
Amen.
Does it look like God is the blesser? In other words, you You get a chance to choose what you want to do. But are your choices favorable to your image with God? Check out what he's saying. They chose other gods. Round about chapter 3, 4, 5, he talks about this. How I went up to the top to get the tablets. And God and I was talking. And there was a noise down in the valley. And when I started coming down, I realized that you all decided to have a party. And you had built a golden cake. I broke the table because I was upset. But God began to call the mountain tremble because he was upset. You went after other gods. You went after your children. You went after jobs that would keep you out of worship.
Come on here, say it again.
You went after idolatry. You went after yourself, your pleasures.
Oh my God.
You're concerned about what makes you feel good. You did what Adam did.
Oh my.
You thought about yourself only.
Yeah.
You thought about the flesh. How you are so pleased with how it's made to feel. And next week I want to talk about this for a moment. Being delivered but still damaged. I want to spend a little time on that. Because some of us have been brought out of things, but we're still damaged. And the damage had to do with the thing that we were in. What brought us there was because we were damaged.
That's it.
Some of us are still doing things. We're smiling while we're in it. We hadn't fixed what's broken yet. Some of us are pursuing affections. Still hadn't healed the damage. Can I get some chords, strings? But I've come to realize in my discovery of this text, can I be honest? Can I be like brutally honest with you? I almost bought into what the church is about is praise. Praise God. Praise God. And I thought about if we just came in and had a good time every time. And we walk away from this experience saying, man, we had some church. And the church, Tommy, has almost branded herself like a concert in Times Square. It's an event. We experienced it. It was worth the time we spent. But when it's over, it's just a memory that fades. And what I discovered in reading this particular 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8, and went back to 3, what I discovered was that the love that we experience from God is supposed to change us. That's right. What we're experiencing from God is supposed to be an affectionate thing that we are guilty every day of getting deeper and deeper in love. Can I tell you something, Sudi, that I discovered? I discovered that there are some people that are with God that will go to hell. Can I tell you how I made the connection? Can I tell you how I made the connection? It hit me, Dennis, round about Wednesday. It hit me. How it hit me, Susan, was this. When I realized that it wasn't the parents of these children that got to Canaan. They were cut off from the promised land. What's the promised land for us? It's heaven. If we're not going to fall in love with God, if we're not going to obey God, if we're not committing our lifestyles to God, if we're not concerned about the choices that we're making and afraid of idolatry, and if we're going to continue to live after the lust of our flesh, guess what's going to happen to us? We're going to be cut off. With the promises that He made you, guess what we'll get? Your children. We have to decide that we love God enough and that we're concerned enough with God that not my children don't get it. I will experience it with my children. This text reveals something to me. And Wednesday, Dwayne, it caught me and said, hold up, Gary. These folk don't make it to the promised land. And God loved these children. These are the ones that God did the wonders with. These are the ones that He brought through the water. These were the ones that had the blood over the doorpost. These are the ones that God carried through the Red Sea. These are the ones that God fought Pharaoh for. These are the ones that God showed favor to. These are the ones that God blessed day after day. These are the ones that God led in the wilderness. These are the ones that God provided for in the wilderness. These are the ones that God gave water in the wilderness. These are the ones that God gave victories in the wilderness. But they didn't make it to heaven. And why didn't they make it? The hearts were far from Him. They went to church. They paid tithe. They came to Sunday school. They were in Bible class. But there was nothing or very little about them that reflected, I'm in love with God. Okay. Because when we love Him, truly love Him, Moses says this in Galatians. I read a devotion this morning. I think it was Galatians that said that when you love me, you chastise.
That's right. That's it.
When you love me, God, you divest me, you take off things. And I willingly lay down things. Check me out now. Watch me. Because you know I asked the question of the text. I lay down things I love. I love you, Jesus. I love you more than anything. I love you more than anything. I love you more than anything. Do we love Him more than our vices? Do we love Him more than our habits and our behaviors? Do we love Him more than the thing that gives pleasure to our flesh? Here's the last thing I want to say about that. Let me go. Because I asked God this question. I gotta check y'all out. Can I be honest? Can I be transparent? I asked God, is it that critical? You know what the answer came back to me was? You have to die for it.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Your flesh has to die for me. But can I hang on to this little thing, God? Gary, your flesh has to die. So the question becomes, comes, what am I willing to give up to prove my love? Or else my coming in on Sunday is just going to be that, a coming in. Wouldn't it be strange to spend 30 years on a job and have no retirement at the end? All you got was the benefits while you were working. But when it was over, it was nothing to look forward to. And I saw that these folk got cut off. I said, wait a minute, man, wait a minute. God, you did all these for these folk and they didn't go into Canaan? No, they didn't go because they would not observe my commandments. They wouldn't obey. The things that they knew were right, they didn't do them. The things that they knew I was expecting out of them, they didn't do them. And guess what? If you push that thing on back and go back into Leviticus and start reading in the laws of Moses, what you discover is God says, I gave you these laws so that you could look like me.
All right.
And not like the rest of the world. What did you say, God? I gave you the laws so you wouldn't look like the world. So that you would be distinctively different from the rest of the world. So what are you saying to me, God? Your choices ought to make you look different than the world. You're not to blend in with them. You are to stand out.
That's right. Yeah. That's it. Help us, Lord. Yes, Lord. Mercy. Glory to your name.
What does my love show? Does it show I'm connected? Does it show that I'm following the blesser? Because I'm going to tell you what is in the text. You're going to get that because you're connected with him. You're going to get blessed anyway. You ain't got to trouble yourself cutting about that. You're going to get blessed just because you couldn't. But you can't forget the response that comes after being blessed. Does it infuse your spirit to say, God, I love you more? Does it infuse you to say, strengthen me that I may lay down some things? Does it give you the power to resist temptation? I love you, Jesus. I worship and adore you. The altar is open. If there's a person here that wants to give God their heart and life, is open.